This is the Roulette Master, and I absolutely love this new system that was sent in by John Lewis. He calls this the Love Child Roulette System, and I think you guys are going to love this as well. It's a combination of two systems that I already use that are fantastic. So let's get right into it, and I can't wait to share this one with you. And we're going to start with 3 streets. We're going to be betting on the 1, 2, 3. The 25, 26, 27, and the 28, 29, 30. And these 3 streets have the numbers that are closest to the 0 starting out. And we're going to start right there, and that's a $15 bet. And John Lewis says that the dealers are always hitting around the zeros, and that's going to be a small part of this system, but really important. And that's a nice $45 win to start. And that's one of the numbers that's right around the zeros. So we're up 45 already. We're just going to rebet and spin. All right, here we go. There's a lot more to this one, so make sure you stick around for the whole thing. I think you're going to love it. And that's a 29 black. What a great start. Another win. We're up $90 already. Let's go ahead and spin again here. And that 27, 28 are really close to the zeros, as you can see there. And that's a 1 red. What a great start. And awesome. We're up $135 already, and let's spin again. So definitely hitting near the zeros so far, and here we go. That's a 21 red. Okay, we lost that one. So now what we're going to do is add in the numbers that are next closest to the zeros, and we're going to add in the, let's see, we have the 7, 8, 9, the 10, 11, 12, and the 13, 14, 15. It doesn't mean all the numbers in those streets are close to the zeros, but it means it has the numbers that are closest to the zeros in those streets. Okay, so we have a $30 bet now. We're going to double that to 60 and spin. So here we go. Now all of a sudden, we have 6 streets and 18 numbers covered. That's an 8 black. Fantastic. That's a $60 win. We're up $180 already. We're going to take those bets back off and go back to where we started. So remember, we started with the 1, 2, 3, the 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We have the 2, 27, and 28 right there. And we're up $180 already. And I'm definitely going to be using this one at the casino, and because it does seem like it hits near the zeros a lot when I play. Look at that. It just did it again. The 28 is right next to them, and we're up $225 already. So let's just stay right here and spin again. And this has been a fantastic start, but I can't wait to share with you how this works over a little longer time period, and how it recovers too. So let's go ahead now and we'll add those next bets in. And these 3 streets right here have numbers that are right by the 0, 0, 0. We're up 210. We're going to double that bet from 30 to 60 and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 0, 0. That definitely hit near the zeros, but that's okay. We're trying to hit near the zeros, not add 0, but that's okay. And that was actually the 0, 0. So now we're going to add in the next ones at $10 because the rest are already at $10. So these next ones are going to be 34, 35, 36, and then 22, 23, 24, and then 4, 5, 6. Okay. And now we're going to double that bet to 180 and spin. And now you can see we should have 9 streets out there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks good to me. Let's spin. And here we go with the Love Child Roulette system. That's a 21 red. Okay, we lost that one. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to double the bet again. So we're going to go from 180 to 360 and now spin again. And we have a really good chance of hitting this one. Let's see if we can get a win here. That's a 20 black, but we lost again. So that's very unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. We're going to have to double one more time to 720, but now we have a really, really good chance of hitting this one. I don't think it'll lose 3 times in a row, but let's see. That's a 36 red, and that's a nice $240 win. You can see, though, once you get to 9 streets, you need 2 wins instead of 1. So let's see if we can do that. And it hit 36 again. That's fantastic. So that's a $240 win. We're back up 90, and we're going to take a little bit of a setback there and restart. So if you get your 2 wins, you restart no matter what. Normally, you're not going to lose that many in a row. So let's go ahead and put our bets back out again, and let's go ahead. Let me start that again here. There we go. I had 1 too many on there. Let's go ahead and spin. So don't try to get 3 wins in a row with 27 numbers. If you get 2, restart. And you got to be kidding me. That's a 36 red. But we didn't win on that one. But that's 3 36s in a row. Okay, so now we're going to add those next three in again, which are the next closest, and it's going to be the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then we're going to double that bet from 30 to 60 and spin. I don't think you'll see as many losses as we just had there before again in this session, but you never know. Let's find out. That's a nice win there. And man, we're up $135 again. So that just shows you right there the importance of not trying to continue to win after you get your two wins, because even though you have a setback, you can get right back up there again, especially if you win a bunch of bets with 18 numbers. And that's a loss there. Let's add those next three back in again. So here we go. Let's do that. Okay, and then we're going to double to 60 and spin. And again, this was sent in by John Lewis, and he's new to the channel, but loves roulette, and that is another loss. So now we're going to go to 9 streets, and remember which ones we're going to add in. We're going to add these at 10 because the rest are already at 10 because we doubled. And then we're going to go here and here. And let's go ahead and double that now to 180 and spin. And let's see if we can get a win here with 9 streets. That's a 24 black. And that's a nice $60 win. We're up 120. We need 2 wins once we get to 9 streets. So let's get our second win right here. And that's a 31 black. But we lost again. So that doesn't usually happen, but let's double to 360 and get another win. And since we won the front end of that last one, we'll just see where we're at if we can get a win on this one. That's a 22 black. That's a $120 win. You can see we do still need a second win. So let's go ahead and get that at 9 streets or 27 numbers now. And that's a 23 red. And that's a nice $120 win. We're back up $180. So let's just start back at the beginning again and spin. And I can tell you it's not usually this rough of a ride, but we're still doing good. But it is important to have a bankroll, which we'll talk about next. That's a 30 red. That's a nice $45 win. We're up $225. But you guys have seen a little bit of everything so far. A little better than average luck at the beginning and worse than average luck after that. So now let's see what happens coming up here. And we're going to now add in our next 3 streets that are close to the 0, 0, 0. So we're going to add in the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and double. And again, it doesn't mean every number in that street is close to the 0, 0, 0. It means that the next closest numbers to 0, 0, 0 are in those streets. That's a 32 red, and we lost. So we're back to 9 streets, and we're going to add these in at 10, 34, 35, 36, 22, 23, 24, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to double to 180 and spin. And let's see if we can get a win right here with 9 streets. And that's a 24 black. And that's a $60 win. We're up 210. Now, sometimes if you want to, you can restart after 1 win like that. But sometimes there's a small setback if you do that. That's a 2, and that's definitely close to the 0, 0, 0. So that's another win. We're up $270. We're going to restart. So we're back here again. And let's go ahead and spin. The 2, 27, and 28 are right up there against the 0 and 0, 0, as you can see. And that is a nice $45 win there. We're up $315 now. And let's go ahead and spin. This is the Love Child Roulette System by John Lewis, and that's a 33 black. Okay, we lost that one. Let's go ahead and add those next closest ones in. And then we'll double and spin. And here we go. Now we have 18 numbers covered. And if you get a lot of wins with 18 numbers, you're going to make a lot of profit. And you can see we just did it again there. Now all of a sudden we're up $360. So if you're patient enough and use your bankroll, which let's talk about now, to get a bunch, wait till you get a bunch of wins with 18 numbers, your profits are going to skyrocket. And this is a $2,000 bankroll system. If you want to use dollar units, just divide that by 5, and that'd be a $400 bankroll. So we lost that one. Let's add the next ones in, and then double and spin. And we're trying to take advantage of wins around the 0, and that's a 25 red. That's a nice win. Another win with 18 numbers. We're up $405. And let's go back to where we started. There we go. We got the 2, 27, and 28 in those streets right next to the 0 and the 00. And it hit the 00, which isn't the best with this one, but at least that means it's hitting around the 0, right? So let's place those next bets and then double to 60 and spin. And remember too, what Sonny always says, you can always cash out when you're up. You don't have to keep playing until you have something bad happen. And there's another nice $60 win. So we're up $450 right now. It would be perfectly acceptable to just walk away with that $450 that you didn't have before. And so always keep that in mind. And that's an 8 black. And that's a loss. And another thing you can do as well is once you're up an amount that you're really happy with, but you want to keep playing, you can just lower the bets and lower the bankroll. So let's talk about that also. Let's double that to 60 and place our new bets. So if you were able to place smaller bets, definitely do that. And then just whatever number you reduce your bet size to, use your math skills and do the same thing to your bankroll so that you don't have as big of a risk. Okay. We lost that one as well, so we're going back to 9 streets. We're going to add these in at 10, just like that, and then double. And let's see if we can get a couple wins with 27 numbers here. And that's a 10 black. That's a good win. So now we're up $435. And again, you don't have to go for a second win once you have a ton of profit. It's okay if you take a small step back if you are up over $400 like we are right now. But we got the win anyway. We're at $495. So you can kind of adjust your strategy as, after you do really well to protect what you've won. I definitely do that sometimes. If I've already won a lot, I don't take the same risks that I would take at the beginning of the session. And that's a 0. We lost that one, but at least it's hitting around the 0. So let's add our next bets in and then double. And let's get some more wins with 18 numbers. We have almost half the wheel covered here, so that's a 23 red. All right, that's a loss, so we will go back to 9 streets. Let's add those in at 10 each, just like that. And now they're all at 10, and we have 9 of them. So we double the bet to 180 and spin. And let's just get one win this time if we can get a win here. And look at that, we're right next to the 00. So this would be an example of not going for 2 once you're up $480. We're going to reset and play it safe. So that's definitely something that I would do when I'm playing if I'm up a lot. So definitely want to share that with you. And that's a 7 red. Okay, we lost that one. And then we're going to go for the next one here. We're going to add the next 3 in. So 1, 2, 3. Double the bet to 60. Now we're at 18 numbers or 6 streets. And here we go. And we're really hitting around the 000. We did it again. That's a nice $60 win. We're at $525. So you can see it didn't really hurt us by not going for 2 on that last progression because we've already made much more than that. And we hit around the 0. Again, that's the 00. That's the 27. Nice $45 win. We're at $570. And John Lewis just says that the more he plays with the live dealer, the more he notices them either just hitting around the 0 or trying to hit around the 0. And there's another nice win, $45. We're up $615. So this is a system that I've definitely used in the past as well without the strategy around the zeros. But look at that. We're just continuing to hit around the 000. And we're up $660 now. And let's go ahead and spin. And it does seem that way when you play, like it always almost or hits the 0, doesn't it? And that's a loss. So let's go ahead and place those next bets. And then double from 30 to 60 and spin. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a 31 black. That's a loss, so we're going back to 9 streets. Let's add those in at 10 each because the rest are already at 10. And then let's go ahead and double from 90 to 180 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 17 black. That's one of those ones we don't want, so we're going to go ahead and double the bet now to 360. But we do have 27 numbers covered, so we have a real good chance of hitting. And that's a 29 black there, and that's a nice win. You can see we're up 525, so we don't have to go for a second one. Let's just restart. You can really, even though we're taking a little bit of a setback, that's what I would do if I was playing. So that's what I'm going to share with you today, and I'm sure John Lewis would tell you the same thing. Protecting the bankroll, he said, is his #1 goal. So I agree. And let's add 3 more in here. And let's see if we can double the bet and get some wins with 18 numbers. It's amazing how fast the profits come when you get wins with 18 numbers. We lost there, though. Let's go back to 9 streets. So let's do that. Add that in at 10 and 10, and then 1 more. And then double to 180 and spin. And then we'll see if we get a win here and where our profits are. So that's a 7 red. That's a nice win. And again, if I'm up over $500, even if I'm taking a small setback, I'm going to go ahead and restart. So let's just go ahead and end the session there, up $510. Thank you, John Lewis, for sending this one in. And if you guys have a system you want to send in, send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. We do this every single day of the year, every year, and I love it. So I hope you guys do as well. And now coming up, we have a strategy that's trending on YouTube that a lot of people are enjoying. If you want to stick around, it's coming up right now. Thanks for sticking around. I think you're going to absolutely love this video that's trending on YouTube right now. It's how to make money fast. And I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. This is the Roulette Master, and last night after testing the Star 32 roulette system, I could not wait. I had to go to the casino and test it out. I went to the casino and made a lot of money in a very short time, and we're going to test it out again this morning because it has had amazing results so far. Let's go ahead and place the bets, and let's test this some more and see if it's as good as we think it is. So let's go ahead and do that now, and let's put the bets out there. Again, the most important number is the 32. That's the one that has to be there. And then in the first and second 12, we're going to, it could go basically anywhere that we want it to go, but we're going to put the $5 bets out first. We'll use the number 17, but it has to be on the second column. So remember that, and here we go. Let's do the 5 this time. That'll be a little different than yesterday, but the only one that has to stay the same is the 32. And again, that's because Jim says that with his system that the numbers around that are the ones that are evenly spread out on the roulette wheel, and that so the ball always falls somewhere near one of those numbers. So that's a $63 bet to start, and let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 5 red. Wow, that's a $153 win to start. No way is it going to start out like this again. This is just what happened at the casino last night as well. I made a lot of money in a very short amount of time. Let's see if this continues. That's absolutely incredible. That's a 28 black. That's an $18 loss. And again, with this system, when we have the partial losses like that, we do not increase. So let's go ahead and spin again here. That's an 11 black. Now that's a total loss, so we double the bet, but we don't have to do that very often because usually we get a hit on something even if it's a partial loss. And that's an 8 black. All right, that's a nice $54 win. We're up 126. Let's go back to 63. Anytime we get a chance to reset, we should do so. And here we go again. That's a 1 red. That's an $18 loss. And again, we do not increase with partial losses. Even though it's $18, it's not that big a deal when you look and see how much we can win with some of these other numbers. And that's a 35 black. That's another $27 win. We're up 135 already. Let's go ahead and spin again. And I can't wait to see if we hit some big ones after we double a few times, depending on how many total losses we get, like that one right there. So we're going to double to 126 because we had a total loss. Again, this is the Star 32 roulette system. We're testing this again because it's been doing amazing. That's a $54 win. We're up 126. Let's go back to 63. And when we tested this last night, it did unbelievable. So that's why I went to the casino. I won at the casino. in a very short amount of time, and now we're going to test it even more, because anytime I see a system that I really like, I really want to test it. And again, we're not going to increase the bets when we have partial losses, and that's one thing that really protects your bankroll with this one. Okay, that's a nice $27 win. We're up 135. Let's go ahead and spin, and here we go. That's a 5 red. Oh my God, it's another $153 win. We're up $288 now. Man, we're just going to have to keep testing this, because so far it's all been great. And when we do have to double the bet, that we eventually get wins because we have so many numbers covered. And all these partial losses, like $18, we do not increase. And even when they get bigger, when we double a couple times, you still don't increase the bet after partial losses. And there's another partial loss, so we don't increase. We're up $252, and there's no need to increase, because the wins, when we do get good wins, the wins are so good. And that's a 32 red. Oh my God, it's another $153 win. And again, we're at $405 already. And Jim says that the 32 is the most important number, the one you have to have, because the numbers around it are the ones that evenly spaced out on the wheel, and that way the ball is always falling somewhere near those numbers. Okay, let's go ahead and spin again. The other two, as long as the one in the center is on the second column, you can move those ones around. Okay, we lost, and that's a total loss with a 0, so we'll double the bet and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 19 red. It's a $36 loss. That's a partial loss, so we do not increase. And the reason we don't need to is because if we hit one of those good numbers after we double the bet, we're not going to need to, and that's a 27 red. Okay, it's back-to-back losses, so let's go ahead and double again. We're at 252. Now you see why we need the $2,000 bankroll. And here we go. That's a 4 black. That's a nice 108 win. We're up 288. If you wanted to, you could reset there, but we're going to try to get another win. We're going to try to get closer to session profit. That's a 16 red. That's a $108 win. We're back up 396. That's close enough. Let's go back to 63. And every person can decide for themselves, how close to session profit is good enough, and that's okay. That's an 11 black. That's a loss. Let's go ahead and double the bet. And it's amazing with this system, when you do hit one of those 3 numbers that are the super jackpot numbers, when after you double the bet, and then it really gets nice. But that's a $36 loss, and again, even though it looks like a decent sized loss, if it's partial, we don't increase, and we don't need to, because the wins are so good. That's a 2 black. That's another nice $54 win. We're up 351. Let's try to get one more win here. That's an 18 red. Another nice $54 win. We're up 405 again. So let's go back to 63 and spin. And here we go. This is the Star 32 roulette system by Jim. That's a 18 red. Another nice $27 win. We're at 432. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go again. Huge jackpot potential. That's an 8 black. That's a $27 win. We'll take it. We're at 459. Those $27 wins can really add up and help you out. So here we go. That's a 28 black. That's a $18 loss. It's partial. So we just rebet and spin. And even if that gets bigger than 18 after we double the bets, if it's partial, we do not increase. And that's a 24 black. That's a loss. Total loss, so we double to 126 and spin. And here we go. That's a 3 red. It's a $36 loss, but we do not increase. We're up 342. We do not increase because it's a partial loss, only on full losses. That's a 9 red.
Another $36 loss, but we do not increase. And that's what protects our bankroll with this one. We're going to be patient and wait for good things to happen. And that's another 9 red. My goodness. So that's 3 $36 losses in a row. We're up 270, but guess what? We're not going to increase. And we don't have to, because when things start to go our way, and that's 4 losses in a row, 3 36s and a total 126, which drops us to 144. We're going to double the bet to 252. And here we go. So a little adversity. I like seeing that so that we can see how to deal with it. And that's a 3 red. That's $72 loss. We do not increase. That's a partial loss. We're being patient, waiting for a good hit. And look at that, 32 red. That's a $612 win. We're up $684 now. Let's go back to 63. That's awesome. And you don't even have to hit one of those 3 numbers. If you just get a few wins in a row after you double on those other numbers that are good wins, you're golden. So you can see we're up $621. We lost $63 there, a total loss. So we double, and here we go. Let's see what we get. That's a 10 black. Another total loss. Let's double again to 252. But usually you don't get a lot of losses that are full losses back to back, but it can happen. That's why we have the $2,000 bankroll. And remember, you can always do this, and that's a $108 win there. We're up 603. Let's reset back to 63. Reset anytime you get a chance, especially when the bets get big, and spin again, because there's so much jackpot potential there. And here we go. That's a 1 red. It's an $18 loss. We don't increase. We're up 585.
No more bet.
Let's rebet and spin. Okay, that's an 18 red. It's a nice $27 win. We're up 612.
No more bet.
Let's rebet and spin. And the odds are most of the time we're going to hit one of these numbers, even if it is a partial loss. And partial losses we do not increase, so that's okay. We're at 594. So we can take some of those $18 losses or whatever the partial losses are, because the total wins are so much greater. And that's a $153 win. That's the number 5 again. Wow. We're up $747 now. We're still at base level, $63. This is a $2,000 bankroll system, and here we go. That's a 33 black. That's another $27 win. We're up $774. So, man, this is the 3rd time I've used this system now, and it's gone great every time. That's why I continue to test it out. That's a 25 red. That's a total loss. Let's go ahead and double the bet to 126 and spin. And here we go. And a 0, so it's going to test us here. That's okay. Let's double again. And then when you double a couple times like this, we're at 252, you hit one of those good wins, it really pays. That's a 30 red. $72 loss, but that's a partial loss. We're up 513. So we do not increase. We keep the same and spin. That's a 20 black. We'll take a nice $108 win there. We're up 621. Let's see if we can get another win here. And spin. That's a 4 black. We'll take that $108 win. We're up 729. Let's reset back to 63. Put that bet back out there. There we go. And spin. We're still at base level. And let's see what we get here. That's a 19 red. It's an $18 loss. We do not increase. We're up $711. Let's go ahead and spin. That's a 36 red. And that's another $18 loss back to back, but we do not increase. So let's rebet and spin. We're going to stay at 63 where we started, unless we have a total loss. That's a 2 black there. And that's a nice win of 27. We're up 720. Let's just rebet and spin. So we can take those little partial losses. because the wins are so good, and that's a 16 red. It's another $27 win. We're up 747.
No more bets.
All right, let's spin again. I'm going to keep testing this one until it fails, and that's the way to do it. Just when you find a system you like, just keep testing it. And we lost 18 there. We do not increase.
No more bets.
Only on full losses, and that's what you have to do when you find one that you think is really good. Just keep playing it until it loses. And that's another nice $153 win on a 5. We're up 882 now. So again, for the third time I'm testing this,
No more bets.
every time it has won money. So let's see if this continues. That's a 5 red. No way. That's back-to-back 5s. 153. We're up 1,035 now.
No
Oh
more
my
bets.
god. That is insane. Let's keep playing though. I want to see this really get tested. That's a 2 black. That's another win. That's a $27 win. We're up 1,062.
No more bets.
Let's rebet and spin again here. All right, that is a 23 red. Okay, that's a loss, so we'll go ahead and double the bet to 126 and spin. All right, that is a 36 red, and that's another partial loss. We do not increase. We're up 963.
No
We're
more
at
bets.
126 total bet. That's a 16 red. That's a nice $54 win. We're up 1,017. Let's
No more
rebet
bets.
and spin. Try to get one more win here. You want to try to get in session profit if you can, but if you're close, it's wise not to. There we go. That's a $54 win. We're up 1,071. We're going to go back to 63.
No more bets.
And here we go. And that's 10 black. That's a loss, a full loss, so we double the bet to 126. That's why we need the $2,000 bankroll just in case things go haywire, and that's an 18 red. Okay, that's a $54 win. We're up
No
1,062.
more bets.
Hope I didn't get the bet down that time. I hit the wrong button, guys. Just 1 second. That's a 6 black. And let's just rebet and spin. Actually, we have to go back to 63 now.
No more bets.
So here we go. Let's see what we get on this one. That's a 30 red. That partial loss, we do not increase. We're up 1,044.
No more bets.
Let's rebet and spin. Okay, that's a 12 red. Total loss. Let's go ahead and double to
No more
126 and spin. Let's see what we get here. We're going to test this for a little while today because we want to see when a system's this good. We want to see what happens when it really gets tested. And we're not going to increase because that was a partial loss. We're still at 126. And we haven't even come close to using our $2,000 bankroll yet. But now we're getting a bunch of losses. So let's see how that affects that. We're at 252 now. And we should get some wins even if they're partial, or some hits even if they're partial losses, because we have so many, and that's a 108 win there. We're up 927. Let's try to get another win here at 252. And obviously, the higher the bets get, the more conservative you want to be when it comes to resetting. But there's another $108 win. We're back over $1,000 profit again. So we go back to 63. Let's do that. And your odds of hitting one of these is extremely high because there's so much coverage, even though some of those hits are for small losses, and that's a 17 black. All right, that's a $153 win. We're up at $1,188. That is just incredible. I love hitting one of those 3 numbers. And even if you don't, there's a lot of really good ones out there that you can hit. That's a loss. We'll go ahead and double to 126 and spin. Here we go. That's a 15 black. That's a $36 partial loss. We're up 1,089. So we'll stay at the 126 level and see what we get here. That's a 19 red. Another $36 loss. We do not increase. So We rebet and spin at 126 total. Here we go. That's a 33 black. We'll take that $54 win. We're up 1,107.
No more bets.
Let's rebet and try to get one more win here. That's a 10 black. That's a total loss. So that's when you have to think when it comes to resetting, because you always want to reset if you're close to session profit. So that probably would have been a good time to do so. But you know what? We're going to test this out against really bad numbers, which are coming our way right now after that 0. Now we're going to go to 504. So we have a $2,000 bankroll. Let's see if we can get a win at 504. That's a 9 red. $144 partial loss. So that means we do not increase. We stay at 504. But I can tell you right now, once we get some wins at 504, they're going to be nice. And that's a 35 black. That's a $216 win. Let's rebet and spend. And anytime you get this high, if you want to reset and say I'm up 800 bucks, go ahead and do so. Don't think that you have to keep chasing it, because there's a total loss. And now we have to think about something here. We have a $2,000 bankroll. We're up $300. Do we want to go to 1,008, or do we want to be smart and stay at the 504 level? I think you should stay at the 504 level. So let's do that and spend. And that's because the jackpot potential at 504 is so big, we don't need to keep increasing at this point. That's a 26 black, and that's another loss. So you can see that saved our butt right there. And now let's stay at the 504. I don't think once you get this high, you have to go any higher. You just need to get some wins. So that's a 32 red. Look at that. That's a $1,224 win. Now we're back up over $1,000 again. So that's a really good lesson to learn right there, is that, and now we're going to go back to 63. The lesson is that when you get up near that 500, I wouldn't go any higher, because as you just saw there, the jackpot potential is huge once you get to that level. There's no reason to go up to the $1,000 bet. That's a $27 win. We're up 1,044. Let's rebet and spin. And that's the closest I've got to being in trouble with this system. But you know what? That's why I'm continually testing it, because we want to see, especially when we have good systems, we want to see what happens when the worst numbers come. And you never know when you're going to get 5 zeros in a row. It could happen. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and double to 252. We've had a lot of zeros this session. Let's see what we get here. That's an 11 black. Another total loss. So we're already back up to that 500 level. But let's say we're not going to go any higher than that. And that gives us a chance to get some wins since we have the $2,000 bankroll. That's a 21 red. And that's a 144 loss. And we're up 459. Let's stay at this 504 level until we get a win. And that's a 1 red, and I believe that's another loss, 144 loss. We're still up 315, though. All it's going to take is a couple good wins, or maybe just one. Let's see what we get. That's a 30 red. Another 144 loss. So we've lost about 400 in the last 3 spins. We're going to stay at the 504 level and see what happens here. That's a 7 red. Another 144 loss. So we've lost a lot in the last 5 spins. But we're going to keep going. We have $2,000 bankroll. We can keep going here and be patient. That's a 4 black. There's a nice $216 win. We're up 243. We're going to stay at 504 and try to get another win here. That's a 3 red. That's another 144 loss, so we're only up 99 right now. Let's spin at 504 here again. That's a 31 black. That's a nice 216 win. We're up 315. Let's try to get one more at least. And then even if we're not up to 1,000, we can probably reset at that point and be smart, but let's see what we get. That's a 144 loss, so we're only up 171.
No
Let's
more
rebet and spin. And also realize if you ever want to reset just because you're up, you can do that as well. That's a 24 black, and that's a total loss. So we're going to stay at 504. We're at minus 333. We're not going to go up higher than that. So we're just going to wait for good numbers to hit. That's a 17 black, and that's a good one. That's a $1,224 win. We're back up $891, and that's close enough. You don't want to push it back up to 1,000 again. We'll go back to 63. But I'm glad we played this really long session today, so that you guys could see that that when you do get really bad numbers, you can get close to being in trouble. But you do need to play it smart, and that's a 33 black. That's a nice $27 win. We're up 918. Let's try to get it back over 1,000 again. That's a 9 red. It's an $18 loss. We're up 900. Again, we don't increase on partial losses. Let's rebet and spin. That's a 00, and we've had a lot of zeros this session. So again, though, that's good because it's testing us, and that's why we're playing longer with systems that we like, is because we want to see how long they last, and if you know what happens when bad things do happen. We're up 891. We'll rebet and spin, try to get another win here, and see what we get here. That's a 35 black there, and that's a nice $54 win. We're up 945, so we'll go back to 63 and spin. And this is a star 32 roulette system by Jim. And remember, too, the 32 is the number he says you have to have. The numbers around it, he said, are evenly spread out. And that's a total loss there. So let's double. And he says that way that the ball will always fall somewhere near one of those numbers. And that's 33 black. That's a nice $54 win. We're up 936. Let's reset back to 63 and spin. And let's try to get it back over 1,000 here. That's a 20 black. That's a nice $27 win. We're up 963. Let's rebet and spin. And that's an 8 black. I think that's a win, and it is. $27 win. We're up 990. We're getting close to being back over 1,000 profit again here. And that's a 1 red. That's a partial loss, so we do not increase. $18, and let's just rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 4 black. That's a nice $27 win. We're at $9.99. We only need one more win to get over $1,000. So let's see what we get here. That's a 15 black. It's an $18 loss. It drops us back to $9.81. Let's rebet and spin again here. All right, that's a 17 black. That's a $153 win. We're up 1,134 now. And for the third time testing this, this system has done fantastic. Now, for the first time, though, we did have a few challenges when we had a really bad streak. But any roulette system can fail if you get horrible numbers. But the thing I like about this one is that you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time. And again, this is a $2,000 bankroll system. I get that's a decent amount, but we've made a lot each time we've tested this. And it's awesome if you can win close to what your bankroll is. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments as always. And if you want to send a system in like this one, please send it in to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And I hope you're enjoying the channel. And if you are, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing this great community of people that love roulette. And hope you really enjoyed this one today. This is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.